Hi, I'm Anna. I'm from Astral Hygiene, and today we're going to be talking about what you should do as a cleaning operative or a manager of a cleaning team or a head teacher who manages a school that has currently had a suspected or a confirmed COVID case. So it's kind of just a step-by-step guide to help you to take the right measures at the right time and not kind of overreact or underreact according to the situation. We're now in a position where we have an increase in cases, particularly among school-aged children. So this is an opportunity for me to try and keep everybody as safe as possible and try and not disrupt the children's education. So as I said, I'm Anna from Astral Hygiene. These videos come out once a week, and I talk about a whole range of subjects from, PPE to how to clean a locker room to gym hygiene to, COVID cases, etc. So I'm just trying to kind of spread the knowledge. It's a free service, so if you could please share this post on Facebook, share it on Instagram and follow us on both the aforementioned, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll be up to date with everything that we put out in terms of social media content. So let's get started. So we know that parents, I'm a parent, and teachers and the government want to keep in-person learning going across the UK, so it's really important that we try not to disrupt the children's education anymore and try and keep them at school. So I think it's really important that we try and keep everybody as safe as possible. The low vaccination rates and the lack of universal mask wearing, particularly amongst some of the children's age groups, does pose more of a risk and helps the spread of COVID-19. Now, that being said, if you do have confirmed cases of COVID, I'm going to kind of give you a three kind of stage process depending on the circumstances. So what should I do if I have a COVID case in my school? The answer is it depends on the circumstances and particularly the length of time. The increased transmission of the Delta variant and all of that sort of, the new kind of variants that are coming out are making parents a little bit more apprehensive. So let's talk about what you should do. So we do know that COVID is spread mainly through the air, and the risk of the virus getting the virus by touching contaminated surfaces is generally quite low. So regular surface cleaning and disinfection, focusing on high touch surfaces is important and it is adequate under most circumstances. However, if a person is suspected of having a COVID case in your school, you do need to take kind of residual action after the case has been identified. So scenario one is if the person if less than 24 hours have passed following a suspected or confirmed case of COVID, you need to kind of roll out the big guns and get everything sorted and sanitised. So all your cleaning staff should be told immediately about the suspected or confirmed case so that they can take appropriate action. They should all be trained appropriately for this case. If you have a fogging system in place, great. If you don't have a fogging system in place, that's fine, but you will need to clean with a little bit more elbow grease, and it will take a bit longer. So areas visited or touched by the person that is sick should be immediately closed off and not reopened until they are disinfected. And you should wait as long as possible before cleaning and disinfecting to reduce the risk of infection. And this is because obviously it's passed through the air, so you're waiting for all of the droplets to fall to the ground. And obviously the more time that goes past, the virus only lives for up to 72 hours, so we know that now. So you're thoroughly cleaning and disinfecting all the surface areas visited or used by the sick person, both high touch and less frequently touched surfaces. And this is a key key point here, because this one will change as we go through the scenarios. So you're opening doors and windows, and you're vacuuming the space with, if needed, but you need to vacuum the space with a vacuum cleaner with a HEPA filtration system. So HEPA filtration system is one that stops the air and the bacteria and the viruses coming out of the vacuum. But if at all possible, use an S-class filtration system, which you'll find on the SIBO vacuums that we sell here at Astral. You need to use proven disinfectants according to the instructions on the product label. So something like our advanced surface disinfectant, which has got a 30-second contact time, is BSEM 14476, so kills viruses, and BSEM 1276 kills bacteria in 30 seconds. If you've got using a product that says tested against, doesn't mean it's passed. If you're using a product that says leave for 5 minutes, that's impractical. The cleaning team are not going to use that. So you need to be thinking logically about the chemical that you're giving to them to use, and asking yourself how it will actually work in practice. We give free training here at Astral Hygiene to make sure that everybody understands why they need to wait that 30 seconds. So your cleaning team must wear PPE if they're in a zone that an individual has had a confirmed or suspected case of COVID. So masks and gloves, just to be on the safe side, particularly if you're there in an area where somebody has been less than 24 hours since they were in the room. So after they've cleaned it, obviously avoid touching the areas that have been cleaned and disinfected. Wash your hands thoroughly for 30 seconds. Use clear signage and communications identifying that the space is closed. And obviously the CDC, the Centre for Disease Control, recommends cleaning and disinfection of high touch and outdoor surfaces made of plastic and metal that may be contaminated. So if the child has been in the playground, you need to get the cleaning team out there to sanitise them. The sanitisation of wooden objects is being discouraged because it's just simply too porous. So scenario 2 is this one. If more than 24 hours have passed since the person who was sick and diagnosed with COVID-19 has been in the space, so the disinfection should focus primarily on high touch areas, so frequently touched areas rather than the less frequently touched areas. So door handles, keypads, water fountains, student desktops, etc. So these kind of areas do need to be disinfected because they'll be high touch. But we're less bothered at this stage about kind of less frequently touched areas. So the shared items that can be passed from child to child or student to student do need to be disinfected also. So in scenario 3, so in scenario 2, we're less flapped about the situation, we're less stringent about the cleaning regimes because 24 hours have passed, and we know now that the virus does start to die within that time. If more than 3 days have passed, you don't need to take any extra precautions. So if a child has been in school on a Thursday and you've only learnt about it on the Monday, the time itself will have killed the virus. So 72 hours is the kind of cut-off date for the virus to be still living. So continue with your daily disinfection schedule with your good quality BSEM 1276, BSEM 14476 chemicals. That will maintain the sanitisation in the appropriate areas, focus on the high touch areas, and just make sure that everything is being wiped down and sprayed, and particularly if you have a fogging machine, if you don't have a fogging machine, you can still wipe down and you can still achieve the same level of bacteria reduction without a fogging machine as you do with a fogging machine. It's just a bit easier with a fogging machine, which is why I think a lot of organisations have gone down that route. But it's not a must-have by any kind of stretch of the imagination. That's it from me today. Any questions, pop them in the comments below or send us a message on our Astral Hygiene page. Thanks very much. See you next week.